there. So after a very long, many, then again, today we are going pretty short. We're gonna pick up a project that was one of my first projects that I guess I just left running. I use the Firebase real-time database. Pick the Firebase real-time database, pumping it on sourced from the Twitch API. See it here. A whole bunch of different objects, different and how many viewers are viewing all of the related channels. What I wanted to find is ratio. Basically, I wanted to find the day per hour per day had the best ratio viewers to. In other words, I wanted to have the least competition. I don't actually know if I did at the time. So I might as well take this project. One of the funny things is for whatever reason, the data stopped accumulating in January. And I think it's because I was running it on like a cron tab on a compute instance, triggering it. Yeah, I must have killed that VM. Forgot what it did. Probably just left. This is why you label your things. I do not have it. First thing we're going to do is a directory. I have Python. This is what happens when you take a long time between. So I do indeed have a Python. I guess we'll write some processor. The first thing is first, we want to get all that data out. Rules allow public read. So if you wanted to read this data, public read and then write is restricted to only admin. Which there are no more clients, no more administrators, but I can still read it. Oh, why hello. Jazz the cat. How's it going? Grab this, and we're going to use the REST API, which I think still works. Code directory. .json will trigger the REST API. Oh, thank you. The new artwork on the wall. That was actually the artwork on the wall is from a mural in the old Firebase software. I have a picture, high-res picture. Trying to figure out a video editing program. What video editing program? I usually use FFmpeg. I think I've actually done on stream. At least have some videos of me. I wrote a blog post. I never actually showed people how I do all. DaVinci Resolve. What is DaVinci? Is it like Final Cut Pro kind of program or? Okay, so let's slurp down all of that JSON. And look at it in Vim. Oh my gosh, it's so ugly. Let's get there was a parameter I could. Yeah, that worked. Now it's pretty. Oh my gosh, my Vim text is so weird thing about setting up a new profile on a computer. Most tiny. Oh, my microphone's cutting out. I guess my noise gate is. Thank you for the heads up. Go ahead and fix that. Filters. That's what I get for leaving it. Okay, that should be a little bit better. Right now, there's a significant amount of construction across the street from me, and I'm trying to balance between y'all can actually hear me and you can't hear the constant construction because they decided to start using impact tools like 10 feet from my window today. Oh, cool. Wow. Sounds like a pretty complicated program. Doing all the things. Okay, so I have JSON here. I'm probably going to, how many records are in here? Because I would love just to be able to throw it in a spreadsheet and get some pretty graphs up like I did once upon a time. But cat all the data. Let's grep for, count the lines. We have 13,335 records, which, yay, that'll totally fit into a spreadsheet. So now I want to reformat this stuff. There's probably a good way to do this. I'm going to do it a terrible way. I'm going to use regular expressions in Vim. So, or I can grep it first. So I can either think of a regular expression to remove these, because what I really want to do is I just want to make this into tabular data. So what I'm going to do is replace all of these wonderful Firebase keys with a static placeholder, and then replace these new lines. There we go. Grid dot star backslash n slash okay, the power of VI. Yeah, it's kind of amazing how much data you can fit into a spreadsheet. I always love when I encounter people out there and they're like, I have big data. I'm like, I have 100,000 records. I'm like, dude, that'll fit into a spreadsheet still. Excel is an amazing tool. Oh, it's all grumpy because it's still using the, oh, I'm still modifying the JSON file, which is why I'm getting the little red bars. Okay, so now I really just want to replace all these quoted strings with new lines. Oh, wait, with, actually I can just do space delimited. So I want to get rid of all of these. And then I want to grab timestamp and move it back onto the same line. And then let's grab all of these and this might actually end up being nicely formatted CSV, which I didn't actually think I'd get to. Oops, I made a mistake. What was it? So viewers, oh, I want to prefix it with a new line. There we go. Hey, now it's CSV, which means we can pull it into a spreadsheet. Let's write it as all the data.csv. And then go over to Google Drive, create a new spreadsheet. Yes, I want a sheet. And let's import it. Where does import live? There it is, right under my mouse. Sure. Default everything. And I said Excel can handle huge amounts of data. Google Sheets is usually not as great. When to stream on Twitch if you're greedy. Oh, my impulse of not using spaces and names. Okay, anyway, let's add a chart. We'll do it on a new tab by default. Nope, right there in the same spot. There we go. And we want to do probably a line chart. Oh, so this is that. So I need the ratio. So let's add a header column. Add a row above. This is channels, win, and stream and viewers. Because remember, I wanted the lowest number, so we want the ratio. Viewers per channel. And this is this divided by this. And let's round that, leave it a non-integer. Can I drag that? Will that make it happy? Hey, it didn't break. Paste it in all over the place. And now we can see one wonderful thing. Like some of these numbers are kind of low, like 8 viewers per programming channel. I guess programming on Twitch is just not that popular. And oh, but we can see this is history. This is like 2 years of history. We can see that it's gotten more popular over time. Although there are a few hours where we only get like 3 or 4, but on average it's probably better. So let's see if we can find overall trend lines. Yeah, let's do some data stuff. Ooh, smooth line chart. That's new. I'm gonna grab these 4 columns. And we get a chart that's basically unreadable. And my spreadsheet is grumpy. So I'm probably gonna have to do some aggregation before. Oh wait, 25,000. That was at some time in 2018. There was something really popular going on. 2018, 1025. That's pretty cool. Okay, that's an interesting thing. So if I want to smooth this, how should I go about that? I can break it out by, basically I'm going to be doing a pivot and then I'm going to do a chart off of the pivot. So let's get rid of this chart because it's making my spreadsheet and Chrome really angry. Backspace does not seem to, just close out of the editor. There, it's gone. So let's see if I can actually pivot this with pivot tables. And if it'll let me break down the date into different ranges. Because it'd be really cool if it let me do the cyclic stuff on dates and like figure out days per week or hours per day. But that might be asking too much. A1 through D, we're going to create a new sheet. And the rows, when, it doesn't seem to let me break it down. I'm going to have to add new columns. So hour, and a new column to the right, day. Make these the right size. Not that big, a little bigger. So there's like an hour function, right? That apparently is not how it works. I said hour. What do you actually do? It expects one parameter, but is text and cannot be coerced into a number. That makes sense. You think this is format. Can you take ISO dates? Let's find out. JavaScript in 13 lines of anything is fun. Yeah. Sheets also, I don't know what about it. It just has a way of murdering everything sometimes. Format, I think I go to format and then tell it it's a date. Do you actually know you're a date now? Nope, you do not know that you're a date. Format. Date time. Or what if I make a new column? Format. Date time, and then try pasting it in. Nope. It is just fighting. Making this whole Google advocate. Yeah, actually, I do a lot of my tinkering around in Sheets. Spreadsheets are an amazing tool. Like people always joke that they're not a programmer, but like a lot of people in finance and stuff are just writing all of their code in a declarative language that is Sheets or I guess Excel for them. Okay, so I think I'm gonna have to break my win column up into, but that's hard. So I'm gonna use Vim to do it. Yes, check automatically for Vim updates. Oh my gosh, why is my color scheme gone? Oh, that's weird. It's using like a different execution path for my command line Vim load versus my opening from the little button down here. Okay, so why on earth is Sheet so grumpy, and why does it not like my properly ISO formatted date times? Let's try breaking it up into dates and times separately in a format that I think it might understand. There's that, and then let's get rid of the rest of the stuff that's trailing. Explicit dot star slash e trailing characters. Oh, there we go. There we go. Let's see if you like this more. Boop. Date, time. It did not like my pasting of a comma in, but it might like a tab. Yay, it liked a tab. Yeah, I do a lot of my hacking of them. I realized that if I was really a hardcore hacker, I'd probably be using, I don't know, sed and do it properly and doing everything in streams, but having the nice like real life regex matching is just so nice. So let's go ahead and change this over to the property format. It was under format, number, date. I wish I had like explicit types, and it seems like, oh my gosh, look, it's different. It actually figured out that these are dates and these are times. Woot! So that means that our should work now. That is a really weird looking format. But what if I make that a number? Hey! There we go. Now we have the hour in each day. Drag that column back over there. And we also wanted the day of the week is the other thing I care about. I don't really care about the other ones so much. So day per week, we probably also want to get rid of outliers because there's some of these that are just enormous, but I'll do that after I do this part. So I'm hoping this gives me, returns the day of the month. Is it weekday? Weekday. Returns the day of the week provided as a number for a given date string. Cool. Okay, so now we should be able to do our pivot table. Format U. Sure, why not? So let's go ahead. We have our pivot table. Let's make a new one because I think that one's all tied to the wrong column structure. By pivot. New. Insert format data. Pivot table. Yep. New sheet. Oh yeah, regexes aren't meant to be understood. You just write them. You don't read them. You don't care how they work. I also love how the nuanced differences in each language. And then there's regex in Java, which is not really a thing at all. 334? 334. Okay, I screwed this up. Let's make a third attempt at making a pivot table. I think it's just looking at those two cells. So, pivot table. Yeah, they probably had a ridiculous date range before. We'll do a new sheet, and then on rows, we can do the hour. And then in the value area, we can do the average viewers per channel, which would be cool if it was actually an integer. Sum of viewers per channel. That's not really what I want. Let's go with a median. Apparently there we have some records that have no time at all, but that's okay. And then let's make these integers. Can I make them integers? I can tell them it's currency. Yeah, it's kind of right. Is there another way for me to, I guess I can do more formats. More date and times, custom number format. Okay, if I just do number, it rounds to 2. So now we can see that. Let's add another main, we're done with rows. Let's add another values. So we're going to do total viewers, and we're going to do median again, which is great because it's a really lazy way of getting rid of those outliers. And we can see that, oh, we can do conditional formatting now too. So we can filter out the big ones visually, but I won't bother with that. So we can see that the more exciting times, I think I'm using UTC time. So we can see that 1600 hours UTC. We can see that this is when it really gets kind of quiet in there. And we can see that the streamers per channel drop. So it seems like viewers ramp a little bit earlier than channels ramp. So I guess viewers wake up earlier, and people who go up to actually fire up a stream trail behind by a few hours. So I have a feeling I'm going to reconfirm the old, because the conclusion of the stream I did like a year ago to look at this data with a much smaller data set, where I probably repeated all these same steps, was that 10 a.m. to noon Pacific time was when to do it. So when is 1700 UTC in PDT? It is 10 a.m. Pacific time to noon. So the conclusion we've reached is that 10 to noon is a good time where there's a number of people and a smaller number of channels. And if you continue on further into the afternoon, there's actually a greater number of viewers, but then more channels come online. Does the analytics dashboard for Twitch broadcasters expose viewer time zones? Yes, I believe it does, but I don't really care too much about that because I know people are going to tune in from wherever. And I don't really care where people are tuning in from. I don't care if they're tuning. I think when I actually did look at the time zones, though, the reason that these hours were most popular is because it was a combination of when people in a population center on the west coast of the US were just getting to work or before work, when it was, and then it was starting to bleed into the evening when East Coast people were starting to leave work because they start, their workday tends to be a little earlier. And we also got like late evening, early night for Europe. And then I guess like because most of the streams are in English, maybe they're just not as popular in Asia. I didn't get it far enough to get to those kinds of conclusions. But I did look at the time zones a little bit, and then I realized that it doesn't really matter to me. At least it didn't then. Although these days I don't really care about eyeballs as much as I did then anyway. Not that I don't appreciate you all tuning in and spending time with me while we code. Okay, so that was a nice little test project to warm myself up again. And is there any cleanup I want to do? I should probably lock this thing down. Yeah, that's kind of a warm-up project to get me going again. It is 9:35 p.m. for you. Boop. Good. Oh, you want our eyeballs? Well, not in the literal sense, just in the figurative sense. 9:35. So you tune into Code and Streams late evening. I remember that from before. That you're towards the Europe-y side of the world. So I had some other things I wanted to tinker around at. Okay, so one of the things was to revisit the Twitch tracker Firebase RTDB project, and we reached the same conclusions. Just to make it easier, I'm probably gonna flip my recording in case I decide to share this on the YouTubes, which is possible, but unlikely.